everybody, this is Kathy. I wanted to shoot this quick video to make sure that you knew exactly how to use the NICU sweep. And so let's dive in. When you open this spreadsheet, there's two things that you want to do right away. Number one is you want to come right over here to the file section and either make a copy that will add it to your Google account. So you do need to be logged into Chrome or to your Gmail. And then the other option you have is to download, and you can download this file as an Excel or a CSV and use it in any spreadsheet program that you have. So that is step number one. Then what you want to do is to actually decide what you want to perform a sweep on. Now remember, with the NICU cube that we've talked about, there are the 6 different sides, whether that's the respiratory side or the nutrition side. And so what we want to do before we dive in the collaborative this year is to have you assess your current situation. So when we think about doing our sweep, let's talk about what the letters of the sweep stand for. So S is for support and staff. W is for workflows. E is for equipment. E is for education. And P is for policies, procedures, and protocols. So if you are missing one of these key components in any area, whether it's for the small baby, whether it's for cooling, whether it is for any project you're embarking on in the NICU, you are not going to be able to get very far. So you need to do your unit sweep before you begin. So let's go through now the actual step-by-step of what you want to do. So first off, I want you to know that for the next year in the Small Baby Collaborative, we're going to be going through each of these areas. And that's why I gave you all these different sections. So let's say you're going to work on thermoregulation. And so you've picked one of these tabs at the bottom. So that was the task number 1. Let's choose one of the tabs at the bottom. Done. Then what I want you to do is, honestly, you could start with any of the letters, S-W-E-E-P, but I'm going to suggest that you start with policies and procedures. And so that gives you that check mark. Done. So the next thing we want to do is decide on our key metrics. What do I want to measure about this section? So when I think about policies and procedures, what are some of the things that come to mind? Number 1, do I have it and where do I find it? So the next thing would be like, is it actually up to date? Now, another thing to consider is, have we had some issues in this area in the last week, month, year, that maybe our policy doesn't quite reflect maybe some new products we have or a new process that we've put in place? So is it up to date, like from a literature point of view? Maybe, but from a practical point of view, maybe there are some gaps in there. So some really easy things you can do to make sure that your policy is up to date is go to Cochrane and just see if there's any new guidelines that have been published on this topic. Also, you could go to Google Scholar or PubMed and just do a quick lit search and see what abstracts pop up. What are people investigating and publishing about this topic? Maybe there's something on humidity. Maybe there's something on temp probe position. Just you decide, whatever it is for your key metric, you just type that out here. Okay, that's the next step. The next thing you want to do is, based on that assessment, is to give yourself basically a score. And you have these 6 options to pick from. So number 1 is just, are we good to go? You looked at your policy, you found it right where to get it. It looks up to date. You haven't really had any issues lately. Great. You haven't had any issues? Great. You're good to go. Maybe you're like, you know what, it's good, but maybe we could improve it. There's some new stuff I read that we should include, or we have some new products and this is out of date. Maybe it needs improvement. Maybe you couldn't find anything at all and it needs a policy, or maybe you need to have a meeting with someone to get approval for you to work on this. You know, do you need to meet with your manager, your charge, your educator, your CNS, your medical director? Do you maybe need to go and get approval? Or is the policy done and you're the CNS for the unit and you need to just take it to the next committee and get it approved? So depending on what it is, you know, what you're talking about, just do an assessment and decide where you're at. Now for you, the next section in the NICU sweep is for you to actually take a moment and write out your action items. And you can add extra rows here. You can just do insert, 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 as many rows as you need. Go ahead and add the date so that you know when you did this assessment and then what your action items are and whether or not you're going to follow up in a week or a month. Again, once you've made a copy of this, it's fully yours. You can customize it to whatever is going to work for you. All right, so now we've done that. We've made our action items. And then basically the next step is decide whether or not you want to do it for another letter or even another section. Maybe you're like, I'm just going to run through and do all of the policies. That is going to be my thing. And you're going to do the P on every single page. And if instead you're like, you know what, I'm going to do a deep dive into thermal reg or into skin, and then you can go ahead and go from P to E and W and S. You can do all the letters for this section. So what I expect will happen when you get to the end of doing a sweep is you're going to realize you have some strengths, you have some weaknesses, and you've got a lot of work to do. And why we created the collaborative is so that you do not have to do this work alone. If you don't have a supportive team, we will be your support. If you don't have checklists, we're going to give you them. If you don't know what equipment is new and coming, we're going to give you lists of resource guides. We're going to give you templates for education. We are going to give you policies, procedures, and protocols that are working in NICUs all around the world, and you can use them in your unit too. So that is why the collaborative is so powerful. Again, the SWEEP is my gift to you. I wanted to give you a roadmap so that you know exactly what you need to do. But I also know that it's going to really unearth the fact that there's a lot of work that can be done. Again, making progress in our units needs to be done step by step and day by day. And if you're only one person, you can only go so far. So that's okay. You just have to commit into the thing you're going to do. Joining the collaborative is going to give you tools to allow you to go faster. And so that would be my goal for you, would be to go fast so that you can make these big changes as quick as possible and start to allow the families and the babies and your staff and your unit to benefit. But if you are going to go alone, you at least know now exactly what you need to assess, where the gaps are, where your weaknesses are, where your strengths are, and you'll be able to have a great roadmap forward. So the final thing I want to do is just encourage you to do this NICU sweep. Do not wait. Do it now and see where your strengths and weaknesses are. See where those gaps are. Do this gap analysis and then share it back with your team and say, what are we going to do to address these things this year? And if you're by yourself, what can you do? Can you go to a conference? Can you get a certification? Can you take a course? You can do so many things, even just as one. So I don't want you to be discouraged if you're just that one lone soldier in your unit working on the NICU sweep and your program. So anyways, this is Kathy. I am so excited to kick off 2024 with you, with the NICU sweep, with our new small baby collaborative. And if I can do anything to help you, please reach out and let me know. All right, have a great day.